They said the initiative was noble. They said Earth's participation would mark a new age of interstellar peace. They said my body could do what machines and medicine could not. They said volunteers were critical to healing alien populations that lacked our unique immunological pattern. I signed the form with pride because they said it'd be helping the galaxy, and who wouldn't want that? I stood in line among hundreds of other eager volunteers, their eyes shining with belief, their hands raised for scanning and approval, and the booth glowed with soft golden light that pulsed like a heartbeat, like the hope they promised us, like unity. They said the process would be simple, just a small withdrawal, just a few days of rest while we recovered, and just like that, I boarded the shuttle with a badge on my chest and courage swelling in my heart. They clapped when we left Earth, their cheers broadcast across cities as we soared into blackness. And I felt useful, I felt chosen, I felt like my life was finally starting. The facility hovered in the void like a pearl in ink, surrounded by nothing and yet filled with light. It welcomed us with songs not sung, but felt as vibrations in our bones, and every alien nurse we met bowed and smiled with something that looked like joy, maybe reverence, maybe calculation. They wore robes of silver and walked like gravity bent for them. And when they spoke, it was always gentle, always careful, as if every word was wrapped in silk. We were shown to our room sleek capsules that smelled of windless air and synthetic fruit, and the bed was softer than memory itself. They told us to rest and that the donation process would begin soon. They fed us meals that shimmered and moved on their own, but left no hunger behind, and I watched others laugh and stretch and talk about what they'd do with their compensation once they got back home. One nurse with pale violet eyes placed her hand on my forehead and said I had strong vessels, a rare gift, and I nodded, not knowing what she truly meant, just proud, just stupidly proud. I woke up with a weight across my arms, soft but inescapable, like sleep that never loosens, and my mouth was dry, despite no thirst. And the room no longer sang like before. It hummed instead a deeper, lower sound, like something thinking, like something waiting. I looked down and saw the needle, not piercing, but grafted. No tape, no bandage, just part of me now. A line of glowing blue fluid flowing from my vein into a container that pulls with every beat of my heart. And my legs didn't move, neither did my voice. When I called out, the nurse appeared, smiling but colder now, her eyes too, still too patient. And she said it was working. She said I was making a difference already. She said I should be proud. And when I asked when I could leave, she tilted her head as if it asked when the stars would stop burning, and she said donations of this quality must continue for the good of the many. And I tried to rise, but straps I hadn't seen tightened across my chest, soft but unyielding, and the needle pulsed again, drawing more and more, as if my body was an ocean, and they intended to drink it all. Time broke into fragments after that. I don't know how long. I lay there listening to the machine drink me, watching nurses move in and out, always smiling, always smoothing my hair, like I was a child or a relic or a tool. I saw other humans through the narrow window, sometimes asleep, sometimes awake, sometimes weeping without sound, and none of them left the room. Not really, not ever. I heard them say I had the rarest of flows, that my blood harmonized with over 40 species, and they gave me a new name, not my own, not even human. They called me the Wellspring and recorded my voice reading prayers so they could pipe it through the halls of their hospitals and temples. I heard one nurse say that with my plasma, they reversed entire pandemics. And another said, I must have been born under a galactic sign, because nothing like me had ever come from Earth before, and still I lay there, body thinner, spirit cracking, unable to scream, unable to break the straps, and still they smiled, still they praised me, still they drained me, and in their songs I heard them worship not me, but what I produced, as if I were a fruit, not a man. I waited until the nurse with the slow hands entered the room, the one who lingered too long. When checking the monitors, who touched the straps as if unsure they were needed, and when she turned to adjust the readout, I used all that was left of my strength to yank my arm sideways, tearing the needle out of the graft, and spraying red across the floor like defiance, like a scream. And I pressed my arm to the edge of the bed, trying to spill enough to stop my heart to escape in the only way left to me. But the alarm sang before silence could, and hands grabbed me with gentleness that was violence, and a hiss of gas bloomed against my face. And when I woke, I had a new graft, a deeper one, embedded into my chest this time, and restraints I couldn't even feel, because they worked inside the nerves, not over them. And the smiling nurse sat beside me and whispered that pain was a sign of transformation, that I had frightened the lesser staff, but not her, not the believers. And that my will meant nothing now, because I was divine resource, a sacred engine. And I cried so long, I forgot where my face ended and the bed began. They keep me alive, not for mercy, but for need. And I understand. That now I understand. I am not a person to them, but a miracle. And miracles do not get to choose when they end. I have not seen Earth in 1,000 heartbeats, but I remember it. The blue of our skies, the laughter of strangers, the feel of dirty shoes on old concrete, the chaos of street vendors and broken crosswalks. I remember my sister's hand tugging mine when we ran through summer. I remember sunlight. I remember rain. And sometimes, when they leave me alone, I whisper the names of my family, like armor, like fire. And sometimes I imagine them watching this room through some distant camera, seeing what I have become. And maybe one day Earth will come looking. Maybe one day someone will follow the blood back to me. Maybe one day they will call me by my real name and not the one whispered by smiling mouths that never knew me. Maybe I will be more than a donor, more than a vessel. Maybe I will be free. But for now, I lie here, I give and give and give, and the galaxy heals while I vanish.